So the first thing I need you guys to know is I do not, in any circumstances, will ever sit with a one-legger. One-legger means every time that you're going to run your script, you're going to ask if there's a husband, if there's a wife, if there's anybody else on the loan, if there's anybody else that lives with them. This is very important because sometimes it's not a husband, it's not a wife, it's a girlfriend or it's a fiance. If they live in the home together, they don't make decisions by themselves, right? And by the way, we don't ever say that to our clients because we're not salespeople. We're underwriters. So we don't want to say, hey, do you have another decision maker in there? No, you don't say that. You say, hey, Belle, are you married, divorced? Do you have a girlfriend? You engage? Any sugar mamas in the picture? You want to pull out any information. They're like, no, I'm not married. Okay, so does anybody else live with you? You want to find out if anybody lives in that house, if there's anybody else that's responsible for paying for that mortgage. If they are, you want them in that meeting. Some people are going to try and take control and going to say, no, but I pay the mortgage. No, but I'm responsible. No, but I make the decisions. Well, unfortunately, the underwriter is required to sit with both of you guys because you're both contributing to the mortgage. And let me just ask you a question. Is that person going to be a beneficiary? Exactly. So I do need to have the beneficiary in present so she can find out if you qualify or not. You're gonna have the rebuttals for you. That's very important. Utilize those rebuttals. The more you utilize the rebuttals, the better you're gonna become at giving, handling objections without sounding like a robot. That's the first thing. No one-leggers ever. The second thing, and I think we have that on the scripts now, I cannot run an appointment when people are driving. I cannot run an appointment when they're at the hair salon. I cannot run an appointment when they are buying groceries. They have to be home. It's like you are purchasing mortgage protection. You are actually sitting with an underwriter and you're sitting with the best freaking underwriter in the country. You need to be home, you need to be available, and you need to be focused so I can make sure that I can help them, right? So that is very important. Are you going to be home at that time? Whenever you're talking to these people, you want to make sure that you are in control. Your posture is everything. I asked Belle and I said, Belle, I need 12 appointments a day next week. Can you deliver it? And she said, I will. We don't say maybe, I think so, I will try. No, your posture is you're dialing, and you guys might not know who I am, but I am one of the biggest underwriters in the industry. So if I'm sitting down to run appointments, which Christine and Belle knows I don't have time to run appointments anymore, but if I'm sitting down to run appointments, like there's 100 million things going on around me, and that time is extremely valuable. So act like it. Act like you are the assistant of the biggest underwriter in the industry. And you're not putting people in my calendar that are not solid, that they know they will be there. So when you're doing that script, you're not talking like, hi, how are you? Hi, are you gonna be there? Are you sure you're gonna be there? No, it's like, okay, great. I'm gonna reserve 3:15 for you, George. Let me ask you a question though. Are you sure you're gonna be home at that time? Okay, I really appreciate that, George, because this underwriter, she's extremely busy, and if you don't show up, it really hurts her ability of helping another family that needs this help. Does that make sense? You want to be very, very, very much in control, right? The other thing is your tonality is going to determine everything. You want to speak very slow and you want to speak very low. You want to sound like you're bored. When you start the script, in the first paragraph, you want to sound like you were bored out of your mind, that you were working out of a county office, on a little cubicle, and you hate your job. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to be the opposite from anybody else that's calling these people trying to get them to buy something, right? So you speak very slow and you speak very low. After the first paragraph, once you're having a conversation with them, you're going to mimic their tone. So if they speak high and fast, you're gonna go with their tone. But the first paragraph, you're speaking very slow, you're speaking very low, and you are in control, posture at all times. You want to strive for 500 dials a day. I know it sounds crazy. Oh my God, 500 dials a day. That is the goal every single time. If I sit down to dial, I will make 500 dials in one day. I will stop everything around me. I will focus on my leads. I will focus on my activity, and I will not get up until I do 500 dials a day, because 500 dials is the key to get to the results we're looking for. You're going to be using the age lead script. And the thing is, with that script, you have to be very, very assumptive. So you're going to go and you're going to be, hey, Belle, this is Vivian over here with the benefits office, giving you a call back about this form you had filled out and sent back to my office for the mortgage protection program. This is the plan that's going to pay off your mortgage if you were to become sick or pass away. It looks like this file was flagged as incomplete or due for review. Has anybody been out there yet? So you see, it's very assumptive. You're not asking for permission to talk to them. You're telling them, hey, I have a file. It's flagged. It's due for review. Has anybody been out there? Follow that script to the T. Do not try changing the script. That script was written by me, and that script has made several $100,000 a month producers. That script works. Sometimes when you don't know something very well, you try changing it because at the end of the day, you just want to be more comfortable. It's not about being comfortable. It's about learning how to be uncomfortable, and then that becomes comfortable, right? So you want to go ahead and you want to follow the script to the T. What is the number one the most important thing when it comes to booking a quality appointment that will show? Connecting with your client. If the client laughs with you, if the client tells you their story, if the clients want to have a conversation with you on the phone, they will show. So after that one paragraph, the first paragraph that you go in and you start telling them, a little bit about it, you kind of like tell them why you're calling and stuff, and you start talking to them. It doesn't, I don't like the whole sugar mama for guys. It doesn't work really well because people thinks it's weird. But if you like to do it, like I do not, like my favorite part of my script is the sugar mama joke. I go, hey, Belle, are you married, divorced, single, engaged, or do you have any sugar daddies that I need to know about out there? And they always break out laughing. And then you make a joke there. That's a joke, guys. You need to know how to make a joke. Otherwise, it's weird. So if you don't know how to make a joke, don't make the joke. And there's a few other jokes in the script. And if there's any side conversations that happen, it's also good, because at the end of the day, if you have a conversation with them and they see that you are human, they feel bad about no showing, right? The quality of that appointment is going to start with the quality of the connection that you create with that client from the beginning, from when you tell them, Vivian's going to come out. By the way, just so you know, Viv, she is the biggest mortgage protection underwriter in the country. So you're going to be taken care of. Don't worry about it. So like little conversations, little things here and there that you can have with that client will make a huge difference. Making sure that when you're booking that appointment, you triple check the time zone. I'm working leads from Indiana. I'm working leads from all over the place. So making sure that the time zone is the same one, the calendar time zone is the same one for the leads. So when you're giving time, you're giving them the right time for them, and you're putting the right time on my calendar. So there's no miscommunication when you put that appointment in there and I'm there an hour before, I'm there an hour later, or anything like that. Trust me, you don't want me to sitting here and have 7 appointments, no show me in a row. You do not want to do that, because you don't want to get Vivian mad. But make sure that you are looking at the time zone very well and you're triple checking that, and they know exactly what time we're hopping in on Zoom. Tonality, posture, being control. Tonality, posture, being control. Like the posture that you're going to have, the best dialers that we have in the company, it comes down to the fact that they have like a posture of a lion, right? And it does not matter what people say to you. People will try taking your control away. And in the beginning, it's okay to let it go because you really don't know how to handle it. I did too. But right now, nobody takes my posture away. Nobody takes my control away. I was sitting down running an appointment with Kiara, and the guy said, "Well, I don't need." They said, "Why are you lying to yourself?" All of my agents are like, "Did you just tell the clients that he's lying to yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah, you lying to yourself. You have a 17-year-old daughter. God forbid something happens to you. You're gonna have to take the money out of your savings account so you can feed your daughter. Like, why are you convincing yourself that you don't need something that you clearly need? But if you want to do that, sounds good. Just like it's your daughter, it's not my daughter. To me, it makes no difference. My kids have $10 million of life insurance. Something were to happen, they are multi millionaires. So, and then the client's like, yeah, you're right. So the thing is, a lot of times, we feel like we need to get that appointment so bad that we need to convince them so bad. We're not trying to convince people. We're not trying to generate interest. We're trying to find them. So the better you guys become with those rebuttals, the better you become with handling those objections, the better posture you have. You're going to get, when you're dialing, you're going to get your back up. You're going to remind yourself, what are you doing? Who are you working for? You're going to remind yourself that you don't want to have appointments that are not going to show, that's going to be low quality. You want appointments that are good quality. So that way you guys can get that bonus as well. So basically, I think those are the main points. When it comes to working the incomplete leads, let me explain to you guys the difference. So the gold leads means when they called in, they received a paper in the mail. And when they call in, they filled out every single piece of information that they require on the call. So those are the higher intent leads. However, the incomplete leads is one of the best leads that I like to run. And the reason is this. A lot of times people call in and they hang up the phone, not because they're not interested, but one, they might have already filled out a form and sent it out, and they feel like somebody else is calling again for the same reason, but they already filled out that form. Now, when you call them and you say, hey, I'm giving you a call back about that form you filled out and sent back to my office, they're like, yeah, I filled it out. I sent it back to that office. It also could be that they think they can't afford it. They think that they don't need it because they make a lot of money. Now, the people that make a lot of money, they're the ones that need mortgage protection even more. Why? They have more to lose. Because mortgage protection doesn't just pay if you die. It pays if you die. It pays if you have cancer. It pays if you have a heart attack. It pays if you have any critical, chronic, or terminal illness. Mortgage protection is meant to protect your ability of making income, not so much only if you die. So if you make high income, you desperately need mortgage protection, but they don't know that. So the reality is they need to be educated. And if you guys are able to go in and book that appointment, what happens is I have the opportunity to come in and I have the opportunity to educate them. Guys, some of my biggest policies ever written, Belle knows this, came from incomplete leads. So the thing is, people do not like to work incomplete leads, and you already start with like a bad mindset about it because they're harder to book. You're going to get more rejection from them. The reality is, I have agents here. They are giving incomplete leads to their dialers. They don't know it's incomplete, and they are booking them just as much as the complete leads because they just don't know it's incomplete. It's all here on your mind. Have an agent here that they're buying $100 in leads, which is like 100 incomplete leads, 3 months old, giving to his dialer and say, hey, this is complete leads. And he's writing 10 grand a week. So my point is, if you work the complete and incomplete just the same, you can book it can be some of the best leads for me as an agent. And the more you master them, the better you become. Now, how is it different when you're booking incomplete leads? When you're calling a complete leads, they most likely know, when it's newer, they most likely know what are you talking about. With the incomplete, you're going to call them and say, hey, I'm giving you a call back about the form you filled out and sent back to my office for the mortgage protection program. They like, I didn't fill anything out. Go fuck yourself. And you go, oh, Absolutely, it's okay, George. I don't remember what I had for breakfast either. Let me take a look here and see how I got this form from you, because I don't just cold call people. Hold on one second. It looks like, George, when you close on this mortgage with Cold Star Mortgage, you filled out a form with your closing papers for this plan that would pay off your home if you were to become sick or pass away. Now, George, this is not something that you can just get. You actually have to qualify for. And my job is super simple. I just have to verify the information here so I can get you in touch with the underwriter and then see if you even qualify for the program. You see how I took it away? He's like, just stop calling me. I'm taking it out. Okay, hey, you know what? It looks like you filled out this form when you close on your mortgage. And then, I really don't even know if I can get this for you, but I need to verify this so I can get you in touch with the person that could see if you can even qualify, right? What you're doing is you hitting the barrier they put up, and then you possibly allowing to book that appointment. So when you do book that appointment, I have the opportunity of educating them, because most people have no idea about mortgage protection, what mortgage protection does, and how beneficial it can be for them, right? So the more times you using that script, more times that you're getting through those incomplete leads, the more activity you put, the better you're going to become. I have people that are booking incomplete leads at the same rate they book complete leads, right? So it's just really about jamming up that activity.